Hi to everyone. I think 3 minutes delay is enough. So let's start with our third webinar. Today webinar is about how you and other third parties are able to access live geodata from Racemap and process it or apply it for their own uses. So I just want to mention that we record this webinar and we will publish it in our YouTube channel. So if someone missed it or just want to go back to a, let's say, favorite scene, it will be available online soon. Okay. The schedule for today's webinar is we keep the technical part very short. We want to show as many use cases as possible to show you how flexible our solution is for multiple applications, for many different use cases. And for us, it's even surprising to understand new ideas from users and partners and how they apply our solution. Okay, just going back about 3 or maybe 4 years ago, many clients asked us for specifications for specific events, and yeah, they asked for some nice features, and we often had to say, actually, it sounds good, but we can't do it. We are too expensive, we are too slow, and we don't really understand the event where you want to apply this feature. And for that reason, we decided to open our, let's say, tracking platform let's say, to develop a gateway to enable third parties to access the live geodata. And as a result, we provide, or we now provide, several data interfaces. I just passed the URL to our documentation here, and maybe you want to open it parallel when listening what I explain. And I will share my screen also. So here we go. Just tell me, do you see my shared screen? Thanks. Okay. Our documentation, let's start from the bottom and go, let's say, upstairs. The basic API is the starters, where we provide basic information such as name, race number, or if a user assigned tracking keys to participants, this information is available online in the starters API. Okay, it's basic. And what is a possible use case for using this API? For example, you sold tracking keys for live tracking with a Racemap app or a custom app. And if the event starts in, let's say, 4 hours, you can call the API which keys are not redeemed yet, and send a reminder directly automatic from your newsletter program. Ranks API, it's a basic API also. This API provides the data which is shown in our leaderboards, nothing more. Times API, now it's getting more interesting. And Michael will show few use cases where he used this API later. So more details soon. For now, I just want to explain that in Time API, you receive, or you can call timestamps from virtual split points. You can place geofences in a Racemap, similar to a decoder. And as soon as a tracking device, either a GPS tracker or a tracking app, or the third option is if a participant uploads a recorded activity with his smartwatch or fitness tracker, as soon as a coordinate is recorded within the geofence, a timestamp is written, and it's immediately accessible through the Times API. And the best part is, if during or after the event you decide to add more splits or to adjust the location of the virtual splits, just do it. It will be recalculated as soon immediately, and you can call the refresh data right away through this API. Next one, the distance and locations. This is a very robust data interface. Robust means you can mess up your event settings. The distance API will provide useful data. And this API is usable for events where there's no, let's say, racetrack, for example, for nautic events. So, and now the current API, I would say this is our best-selling API, as it is used for TV production, for example. Let's have a closer look into this. I share this link also, so you can open it parallel. Just the structure of our documentation. The above part always provides a sample which can be accessed from your developer or from yourself, just to test the solution. Then a brief description of the parameter provided through the API, some explanations, samples, and some use cases. Okay. Let's have a look into the sample. This is when you open the API, it is shown this way. For each parameter values, and I'm just refreshing it. There you see that all samples, all demos provided in our documentation provides live data. That means if you want to develop or if you want to test your solution, there's always a sample for you available you can directly use, whether your application is doing or processing as expected. And or in case you want or you're working with an own developer, your developer doesn't even need a Racemap account. He can just use our samples for testing and development. Okay, so these are the values, live values from Racemap, and the corresponding visualization is this. That means the values we see in the API correspond to what is provided, what is shown in the visualization. So you always understand the meaning, the relation of the values in the API to data in a map, which is better understandable for us. Okay, and as a first example, I want to show you a small demo of what can be done. Sorry, of what can be done with data from the current API. here we see an event. This is called Mountain Attack in Austria, and our partners, Time to Win, they provide live GPS tracking there. That means each participant carries such a Racemap tracker, and they use our safety monitor and the visualization in the interactive map anyways, but also they provide interesting data for the TV production. And the data they use for TV is the name of the participant, the race number, speed of the participants, and the gap distance between selected participants. And what we actually see is that Time to Win had a specific use case. They needed a flexible solution to control the information, like which participant is shown for TV production, and they developed their own software they call middleware to flexibly switch the participants during TV production and call the data which is needed for TV. So, and now, Christoph, I just have to end my presentation. And now Christoph will continue the webinar and introduces our grabber. This is, let's say, a small program which allows you to access data from the live data from your event without any development or coding skills.
Yeah, hello also from my side. After this introduction, I can show you two tools. I think they are very easy to use. And at first, I will start with just a very basic grabber to display values from the current API on a website or to integrate it into your TV stream or YouTube stream. To make it easy for you to understand what to do to get your event into such a working with such a grabber, I will directly jump into the script and share my screen. Therefore, can you now see the screen? Okay, perfect. So this is a common HTML script. You can open it with any text file editor, and you're free to download it and to use it. So what you see is two parts on top where you can customize your application or your output data. At first, it's the styling part. For sure, obviously, you can adjust the background color or the color of the font and also the font family and so on. And the second part, maybe a little more important, to customize your output. I will guide you through the most important settings here for that sample. At first, you need obviously event ID. When you download the tool, by default, this event ID will be inserted. It's what Konrad already mentioned, the live sample, which runs all the time in an infinite loop and gives you always live data. So it makes very easy for your developer to build an application. The second parameter is the output data. So which value of the current API you want to show. For this example, I choose the to finish value. Then you can define a text behind the value. I choose emoji of a finish flag. And then you can decide whether to display the starter name or not, and if you want sorting of the values or not. And the last parameter is the polling rate, which defines the frequency of calling the API. For this example, I set up with 1 second and the call once each second. So I think for the first setup, this is enough, and we can jump directly into the output. It's quite easy to start and to see the output of such a script by double-clicking. It will open automatically the web browser, like here. And what you see is a list of all participants with their specific to finish values. As we activated the sorting, we have the participant with the lowest to finish value on top, which is probably the leader or an Orca car or something like that. And when you activate the sorting, you can also see overtakes, like here in the list when the names are switching their position. So to customize the output a little more, I jump back to the script. And at first, as previously said, that you can change the design or the style of the script. I will add another background color, hex code here, a blue one, and text color with white. And we go down to the optional parameters. Here at first, we have the device ID, which what we want to use now. The device ID is used that you get an output for just one participant and not for the whole list. You can find the device ID by calling the starter API, as Konrad also mentioned before. You get a device entry for each participant. So here also is a sample is stored for this event, and I enter it and can save the script. And this is mainly all to done. One option is missing or is open. It's a reference device. The ref device is used for the calculation of the gap values in the current API. So if you keep the ref device empty, like here, for this calculation, always the leader will be used. But you can add every device so as a reference device. But for the sample, it's not needed. So after we changed the color, background color, and add a device ID, I go back to the web browser and just refresh the browser, and we see the new background color, the new color of the text, and we see that just one of the entries is shown with their with a specific to finish value. So it's very easy to customize. Okay, let's come to a second option, which is not just displaying values from the current API. It calculates new values from this output data. We built a sample which calculates the distances between each of the following participants, and it is able to detect and store drafting and overtaking, for example, at a long-distance triathlon race. Like before, it's maybe the easiest way to guide you through the settings of this script and to show what is needed to set up for your event, or what are the most important settings. I think for this, it's only the first 3 parameters which are needed to adjust for a sample. Again, you need an event ID from your event. In this case, we don't use the live sample. We use a sample event where Konrad and me was riding at the weekend to show how the script will work. We have the second parameter, the alert value. The alert value defines the drafting zone for each participant. So it means if you are lower than 20 meters behind one participant, for this example, you will be in the drafting zone, and a drafting or alert time, which defines which time is needed for a participant who is in a drafting zone to store the draft. So we can detect it and restore it after a period of time. Here we use 20 seconds. But again, I will show you this in the web browser, as display data is mostly more easy to understand. Here is this script started. What you see is from our right, Konrad and me on the list, our to finish values, and then the distances between us. Here, it's Konrad is 20 or 22 meters behind me and is following me. And here is a column for the draft time, which increases when Konrad is lower distance than 20 meters behind me. And the last column, which includes the stored drafts. Here's the number, and you can hover this, and you get more insights about this draft. For example, this is a draft of Konrad from 11-12-2. He was in the drafting zone of me for 40 seconds. The next number is 2, is the start number of me, which was the previous participant in this time. And it was an overtake, so he overtakes me at this time. So far, from our side and for these two grabber tools. Now, I'm happy that some of our customers are open to share their use cases with you. And at first, Tomislav Lonkav of Racebase Pro from Croatia, a long-term partner of Racemap, will introduce the different uses of live tracking at the Tour of Croatia. So please.
Hi, thank you. And hello, everyone. Usually, we're using Racemap TV API for pro cycling races, where we have needs to showing kilometers to go and, for example, like difference between groups. As Christopher mentioned, like we are long-term partner with Racemap. We started to work with Racemap in 2017 after 2 years working with some different tools and platforms for GPS tracking. Usually we're doing timing, data processing, GPS tracking, photo finish, and actually like whole pack of services for cycling, triathlon, marathon, and multi-sport events. And recently we started doing also motorsport events. In our cases, like key elements for TV broadcast, for us, it's like data, what it's mentioned, like kilometers to go, distance between groups, and also some other data what we not show like publicly. And of course, like a great thing to use Racemap and API in the same time, that we can share same map with organizer. So organizer in same time can see what we're showing or what we will show on TV broadcast. So he can see, for example, on TV we will never show like where it's some commissars, some judges' vehicles inside the race, or where it's the end of the race, or where it's the front of the race. And also great thing, in same time we can doing device management, so we can see situation of device itself in case of battery and in case of parameters. Our workflow, how we use it, in most cases we use GPS Pro devices, what you can find on racemap.com. The main reason why we use, let's say, handheld device, not fixed device, what also is possible to use because we use fixed vehicles. In this case, we use NAP motorbikes, so we can install device on vehicle itself. But the main issue with that can be in case of problem with vehicle. For example, I don't know how are you familiar with road cycling, but usually like it's challenge how you will get kilometers to go for front punch. That means you have a leader of the group, and that leader in the group or leader itself is always followed by a motorbike. That motorbike it's usually for TV, and they always stick to leader, also to the groups. Usually it's like 2 or 3 groups. From that reason, we use that vehicle to care device hold the race, but sometimes they can have a technical problem or they need to swap something, and it's very easily to swap devices. Of course, in all cases, we use backup devices, so it's quite easy to switch also from software side. So as you see on the screen, we use motorbikes for carrying GPS devices. That data going through Racemap. Over there, through parameters, what is crucial for us, we get the data through our control center, and our TV graphics read that API, selecting. So sometimes we need to, as Conrad mentioned on examples before, we need to select which one we want to show as leader, and also our TV graphic team process that graphics live to TV broadcast and for TV. And of course, like through Racemap, like normal web view, we also share that with organization. From selecting data itself, great thing is that and great advantage of Racemap. For example, in case if motorbikes from any reason change position in between, for example, if Moto2, who usually follow the second group, go on front, and Moto1 from some reason stop, from if we not select that manually, we will automatically have kilometers to go, like in correct way, because like Moto2 will be leader, let's say leader on our data feed. But also if we see issues, we can manually select it. Also, we use some specific software where we can quite easily tweak the data in terms of from any reason organizer can have changing on the route on the course. So through the race book, we can see if kilometers to go is like needs to be adjust up or down. So from our side, like the TV graphic team, automatically can tweak it, like how many meters or kilometers need to go up or down, and that will affect it to all data what we get from API. That is how it looks on TV. So in upper left corner, you can see data what we pull from Racemap. Data below we pull from our timing solution, and it's like from race result API. And like if you're interested in that, how it looks like, probably you all know because you follow many sports. So on every sport events or cycling race, you can see how it looks like. But if you're interested in that, in how in our case that looks like, you can see like here.
Play a huge part in today's outcome.
Like that is highlight, so probably data will jump a bit. But yeah, you can see how that how we present it.
So head towards the capital for Zagreb. Time gap hovering around that 1 minute marker, 33.
So yeah, if you're interested in more videos, you can go on YouTube and check it. But I think you are familiar how that can looks like, or how that looks like, because like yeah, from visual thing you can't see what is behind. Okay. Yeah, my presentation it's quite short because I try to make maybe more question about or thoughts about. So I'm open to questions if anyone have it.
Thanks, Tom. And are you open to receive questions afterwards also?
Yes, of course.
Okay, then let's continue. I think then we keep the focus. Thanks a lot. And
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
yeah, it's always good to get feedback from long or short-term partners, so we can focus our development. And the presentation of Tom, his perspective is like a timer and providing data from different sources, like from the timing system or from the GPS live tracking solution. And let's say to enrich it for further usage, like in TV or web streaming. And now we will show a second user sample from Alessio Basso, Piper Vision, an Italian TV production company. They don't have a timer perspective. They have, let's say, a more focused view on the GPS tracking from the TV production side. And as they are working at an event this week, they are excused in person, but they, as normal for TV production, they produced a small clip, and we will replay it now. So, Carl, can you start?
Hello everyone, I'm Alessio Basso, CEO of Piper Vision. We are an Italian-based company operating in the broadcast industry. Our main businesses are television and streaming production, and especially television graphics. So we are responsible to create a graphic set and for displaying during a live or recorded TV production all the data connected to the race, the match, and the participants involved in. Our work is mainly done for major sport events. We deal with cycling, running, triathlon, volleyball, football, and much more, providing our services for major international and national events. We were contacted and met Racemap after a race held in Germany, and their product immediately interested us very much because we saw an important business opportunity to make us even more autonomous in managing live geodata from the race. Today, we would like to share with you some of our case studies and try to explain how we work with data during a live television production and how Racemap trackers are definitely useful for us.
Hi guys, I am Francesco Signorino, Head of Operation and Technical Manager of Piper Vision. As Alessio told, during a race, for example a cycling race, we are responsible not only to design the best graphics set we can, but also to display live data to help the spectators to understand the development of the race. In details, through the help of the Racemap trackers positioned on television motorbikes, we can receive the position of a front of the race or chasing groups and convert it in graphics by display a position bar with kilometers to go and gaps between one or multiple groups, as you can see in these images of our past productions. We usually receive this data feed directly from the service in charge of the television shooting, called host broadcaster. But the problem is that each service uses a different protocol for sending the data, forcing us to decode them every time. With Racemap, we have the possibility not only to have a reliable backup for every situation, but also to be able to work in total autonomy. Another very important data for us is the speed of the riders during the race, allowing us to give further value in understanding the race for the spectators at home. Each tracker sends a data packet every 5 to 10 seconds, containing the geographical coordinates and all the information described before. We receive this data through Racemap API and process them with our software to be able to broadcast it immediately during the live television coverage. A dedicated technical expert called GPS Data Manager is responsible for checking the correct flow of this data during the race, correcting it with a manual backup system if any problems occurred, while other one or two graphics operators are responsible to play out the graphics screen during the live, according to the request of the TV director and his assistants. Through the trackers and Racemap system, we are also perfectly capable of managing television production that are broadcasted on a deferred basis. In fact, not all the television production are live. Many are broadcasted with a format that reproduces the last kilometers of the race as live or with the highlights of the race, edited in post-production. Thanks to the coordinate record and Racemap playback function, we are able to reproduce all the live data mentioned before in the exactly same way as when we are in live production. Kilometers to go, gaps, and all the information connected to them. In these images you are seeing the broadcast of a not live race, but the information, the graphics are definitely the same as for a live production. This is a very useful plus for the organizer who can't afford the budget for a live TV coverage, but can manage a small and soft production with the same quality in images and graphics. One of the most relevant advantages of using the trackers is that we are also totally free from situation of bad weather conditions. In fact, as told you before, when we receive live geodata from broadcast service, we receive them via RF systems, via helicopters or plane, to take data from motorbikes on the race course and bounce back to our van near the finish line. In case of bad weather, helicopters can fly, and the risk for us is not to have any data flow or no backup systems. With the trackers, we can remain alive and continue to deliver live information to the spectators.
So, Racemap API Live Geodata definitely redesign our approach to the delivery of live informations during a live television graphic productions. And also help us a lot in a commercial way because we can deliver a strong service with a moderate price, also for events that can't afford a huge budget for big television productions. But maybe they could invest on live streaming or different formats. We are still continuing to develop further application of work with live geodata with our development team and with the availability of Racemap team, always aiming to improve the quality and quantity of data offered to the viewers. Thank you for your attention and have a nice day.
Thanks, Alessio. Also, you can't hear me working at the race front. And now we saw two examples using our current API, mainly for TV production. Last but not least, a third use case presented by Michael from Chrono Consult France. Chrono Consult is, let's say, from the nature, a timing company. And his use case will target, let's say, our Times API, what I explained when introducing the documentation, like working with virtual geofences or virtual decoders and extracting timestamps from there. So, Michael, please start your introduction.
Okay, hello everybody. I didn't prepare anything to show you. I will just show some use case on timing and explain very quickly the main use case. We use Racemap API for timing use on two main type of event. In first part, on ultra try, I will share with you my screen. It will be more easy. This one, okay. Okay. On some trail event like that, 400 kilometers across the Switzerland, we will replace all the volunteers on the field to realize the timing only with virtual geofencing using Racemap solution because between the first guys and the last guys, maybe you can have 4 days, and all this race will was achieved using the GPS tracking, and the final display was in live trail UI, and it's one of using GPS tracking, like when we want to know if the guys cross the timing point with a low accuracy, because on this race on 10 days we send only one location. It's 5 or 10 minutes, depend of the position, the location of, on the guys on the track. But we want to know just who cross the different checking point. And for each guys, you can have, for example, you can access to his table with each timing point with minutes accuracy. And we use also the timing on some specific event, like nautical event or enduro event in mountain biking, for example, to be able to detect start and finish line on several stage like that. The black part on the track was the timing stage, and we realized the timing with an accuracy at 1 second on each on this 5 stage, only using GPS tracking without any backup, without any problem, and it's quite easy to achieve timing like that. And we use also this technology on regularity rally event in motor car, and also in bike, for example, using another UI, which likes another timing software. We can call the Racemap API to receive in Wiclax all the checking for every athlete. It was my main use of Racemap, and it's quite. I'm sorry, my level in English is really low, but it's very important for us to be able to have this use, because most of our competitors on the market are not able to have this are not able to do more with the tracking GPS and just be able to show on the map the location. And it's really useful to have more use, because it's a new value add on our service to the organizer. And I think now maybe 30% of my event use the timing API or current API on other use. Yeah. And thanks to the Racemap team to develop more and more new use on this way. Yeah.
Thanks, Michael, for your presentation and for your insights. It's like a surprise for us too, how many use cases you produced, and thanks also to your feedback, constant feedback, which helps us to prioritize our development resources. Anyways, what we learned from your presentation, Michael, is in comparison to Tom or to Alessio, in your events, each participant is carrying its own GPS tracker to produce the data. Yeah, this is completely different. And here we are like, I don't want to say obsolete, but for this data shown in the result list, no decoders are needed, and this reduces the effort to produce the data. So thanks a lot. To all of you, thanks for your attention. Thanks for joining the webinar, and have a nice Christmas time, and see you, I think in February, we will present the next webinar. Have a nice time. Bye-bye.